Hello and welcome back to the Beccy Knits podcast. I'm Becky and I'm coming to you from Norwich in England, and you can find me on Instagram as @BeccyKnits or on Ravelry as Becky Monday. I will leave links to everything I talk about down below. If you are a returning viewer, then welcome back, and if you are joining me for the first time, then thank you for clicking on my video. This is episode 11, which is exciting. Not as exciting as episode 10, because 10 feels like a big number. Totally missed that. It was episode 10 last time. I would have probably mentioned it, but I thought it was episode 9. Thought this was going to be episode 10. So, episode 11, whoop whoop. I'm burning a candle today because it feels very autumnal outside, and I'm full of cold, which you probably can hear in my voice, but it feels, yeah, very autumnal. I've got my, I'm in my sort of transition wardrobe, I guess. I've got 3/4-ish length sleeves. I'm wearing a skirt, but it's kind of autumnally. This is my time. I feel like this is my time. I love autumn. Who doesn't love autumn? I love autumn. The candle I'm burning is called Night Court, and it is by Ash and Quil candles. I don't know if they still exist. It's quite an old candle, so it probably doesn't smell as strong as it once did, but I like it. It's called Night Court because as you will hear when I talk about my life later, I am fully in A Court of Thorns and Roses brain space right now. So this was more than I was going to say during the introduction. So let's get into the episode, shall we? Having told you what candle I'm burning, I'm going to have a little Hannah from the Corner of Craft moment and tell you what tea I'm drinking, because it is my new favourite tea. It is the Bird and Blend Spiced Pumpkin Pie. I signed up for their, just gonna take a sip. I signed up for their taster box, and that was one of this month's teas, and I used it all immediately. It's you get a little 20-gram sample bag, I think it is, and it does 3 or 4 cups of tea, and I really tried to savour it, but it's just 4 cups of tea is always only going to be 4 cups of tea, so I had to buy some more, and I really loved their the jar, the tin. So this has got approximately 90 cups in. Yeah, I'm a bit nervous about what happens when it runs out, because I really like it. And I also mentioned my jumper, so I might as well talk about this a little bit as well. This is the Blank Canvas by Yorkshire, and it's kind of I've got a love-hate relationship with this jumper. The pattern is great. It was super straightforward knit. Really enjoyed knitting it, and I love wearing it, but the gauge is off. You can see through it. It's really, the gauge is totally wrong. So it's definitely much baggier than it's supposed to be. You can tell in the sleeves as well. I think I used the wrong yarn when I made it, and I also wore it when I was pregnant, so that sort of stretched it even further over my enormous belly. So I sort of you can't see. No, you can't see. I have tucked it into my skirt to try and make it look a bit kind of it's supposed to be oversized and baggy, but yeah, I mean it's fine just for in and around the house. But yeah, I might make another one and get the gauge right this time. So excitingly, I have got another finished object to show you. So more socks. I think I had one finished last week and I was hoping to have the second one finished to show you, and I do indeed. I think I finished this on Sunday, so I'm not sure which one was the second one to be honest, but there we go, my two little finished warm milk socks by Penny Baker Knits. And I loved this pattern. It was so quick and easy to do, and I think I mentioned this in a previous podcast, but I find that baby socks, children's socks, for some reason just seem to take me forever. I think because they're just, I don't know, I really don't know what it is, but these ones, patterned socks, just go so quickly, I find anyway. So patterned toddler socks, because they should go fast because they're small, patterned is definitely the way to go. So I think in future, if I'm going to knit a pair of like baby socks or toddler socks, they're going to be patterned, because yeah, these just went so fast, so fast. I had intended for them to be for Aiden, who is my eldest, and he is 3. He's quite small, 3. So, and they fit him on the legs and like fit on perfectly, but I used an old measurement for the size of his feet, and apparently kids' feet grow. Who knew? So they don't fit him, but they do fit Rory, who is 1, with just a little tiny bit of extra space in them. So so there we go. These are now Rory's warm milk socks, which Aiden is very disappointed about, because I think I did tell him that these were for him, and he was like so excited. Every time I got them out, he was so excited to see that I was knitting on his socks, and then I was like, oh sorry, they don't fit. So I'm going to have to knit another pair for Aiden, and I will probably do the same pattern again and just make the leg a little bit longer, or I might even just go up a size and do the child size, and then I can always sort of fold them down for some extra keeping upness. But there we go. So this makes, I think this makes my first full pair completed during 6 Sock September, but puts my total on 3 socks. Yeah, I had the DK pair and then 2 toddler socks. But then I also have a half finished object. Oh, I should have been organised and put this on the sock blocker before I started, but I wasn't, so I didn't. The 4th sock of 6 Sock September is the, I always say the String of Lights, is String of Lights by Sock Witchery, in a yarn from Nora George that I don't know the name of. But there it is. I'm so pleased with this. I think the only thing is that I think the cast on was a little bit too tight. This was my first fingering weight socks using the magic loop method, so I think I possibly just ended up being a little bit tight on the cast on. So the second sock I cast on over 2 needles to try and just make those stitches a little bit roomier, and I think that's gonna have improved it. The other thing might be, so I did this little tiny band of the contrasting colour, and then so that I don't get the yarn kind of interfering, don't know how best to explain it. When you swap colours, you can see the old colour in the pearl ridges. So what you can do is, this is just in ribbing, what you can do is just knit around instead of doing knit 1 purl 1 and then go back to knit 1 purl 1, and that like hides the colour change like inside, I guess. But obviously that means that right at the top of the sock I've got just a knit round, so I don't know whether that's maybe just pulled it in ever so slightly as well, and so that might have affected the stretchiness of the sock. But the other sock that I'm working on does seem to have more stretch, so, and I'm sure that once I block them it'll probably ease them out. I say that I generally don't block my socks, you know, eventually I will wash them, and so I guess everything will relax then. Maybe I should block them so that I kind of know what to expect from them. Maybe this will be my first pair of socks that I blocked. I did block these quite lightly. I don't have a blocker for a toddler sock, so I just kind of wet them and then laid them out flat to dry. But that was a test knit, so I needed to get measurements and things like that for that. So, but yeah, that is the other finished object, bringing my total for 6 socks September so far up to 4 socks, which I was very pleased with, because I think I was on like the 12th or 13th of September, so not even halfway through, and I had 4 completed socks. And then this week we have all just been not feeling 100% again. We've all got colds again, and so yeah, I have not done anywhere near as much knitting as I would have liked to have done. On that topic, works in progress. So this is the progress I have made so far on my second string of lights sock, and I've got a horrible feeling that I've done an extra row of orange. I'm really scared I'm going to drop them there or something on my candle. Yeah, I've done an extra row of orange. It doesn't matter, no one will know. So yeah, that's the progress I have so far. I think probably after today my knitting mojo will probably peak a little bit more again, because my husband has a 4-week sabbatical coming up, and so he's off work for 4 weeks, which means that for like the last 2 weeks of September and the first 2 weeks of October, he'll be off, and so I will have an extra pair of hands with the children, and so I think that's probably going to be really good for us both to sort of recharge a little bit, and hopefully that means that my sock knitting mojo will return. Normally I'm able to get like a couple of rows in here and there during the day, and that makes a huge difference, but because we've all not been feeling very well this week, everyone's been a bit tired, so we have basically just been like lounging about and just trying to survive the week. So yeah, that project, my string of lights, is in a new project bag. It's not finished yet. I made this one myself. I'm still making some final decisions on how I want it to be. It seems quite big. It's much bigger than I had thought it was going to be. It would definitely comfortably fit something larger than a sock, maybe like a small shawl or something. The sock seems to rattle around in there. Maybe it'd be good for my scrappy socks actually, because then it'll have my sock and the scraps in. But anyway, yeah, I'm just thinking about fastenings at the moment. I think I'm going to put poppers in, put 3 poppers in this one, so that the yarn can just pour out. And then I'm going to try, I've got some more of this fabric, and then also in this, like by the same designer, some like Christmas fabric. So I think the next one that I make, I'm going to try and do some drawstrings. But this was really good fun. I didn't have a pattern, I just had like some cutting templates, like the squares that you use when you're quilting, but a big one, and I just kind of made it up, which was quite fun. Quite enjoyed just kind of winging it. So yeah, and it's got a square bottom, so it does sit, even though the fabric is quite soft, it does sit nicely on a surface. My other whip is actually a new cast on, but it's still socks, so that's fine. I'm not going to show you the scrappy socks just because I forgot to work on them on Sunday, so they look exactly the same as they did last time you saw them. So they're still on the go. I will definitely put some time into them on Sunday. But these ones I cast on Sunday or Saturday. We went out for a walk and I think everything else was like almost finished and not yet cast on the second one, so I hadn't cast on my second string of light sock, and my warm milk sock was almost finished, so I didn't really have anything that was good for knitting in the car or while I was walking. So I cast on this, which is the West Yorkshire Spinners Holly Berry colourway, and yeah, nice Christmas sock. And these will probably be for Andrew. So it's 72 stitch cast on US 1 2.25mm needles, magic loop. So yeah, and I've got my stitch marker. This was from my Advent Christmas in July Advent calendar from The Lonely Knitter. So I've got options still of socks. I still need to get 2 socks finished before the end of September, and I really want one of those to be the other for the pair of the String of Lights socks, but then I'm not really bothered whether the 6th sock is this one or my scrappy sock. We'll just see. I've got a feeling that it might end up being this one because we're going on holiday next week, so I'll need something good for the car, and this one's plain, whereas the scrappy sock is changing colours every 10 rounds, and also I put a little bit of a texture on it, like a stitch pattern, so it's not a completely, don't have to think about it knitting that I need for the car. But that is it. That's everything I'm working on right now. Yeah, this week I've been doing other things other than knitting. I've been doing a little bit of sewing, see my bag, and I've also been doing some dyeing, and I'll talk a little bit more about my dyeing later. I'm just going to show you like the one thing that I have bought since the last time we spoke. Last Friday I went for a day out with my mum, and we just went into Norwich and went around cafes and knit all day, and it was really relaxing and really lovely. And I said that the only thing that I was really looking for, though she did try to persuade me to buy yarn, but I resisted, the only thing that I was looking for was a box to keep my stitch markers in, my progress keepers, because I had like a little cardboard box that actually I think a dice came in, which was fine for a little while, but it was too small. So I bought a box. It's quite prettily carved on top, and it smells nice too, but I think that's because I bought it from like a sort of shop that does lots of incense and things like that. So yeah, so there they are. So obviously there's plenty of space in there, but you know, I'm sure probably not for very long. Sure, I can fill that easily. So yeah, pleased with that. So I'm like looking around to see if there's anything that I've forgotten. I think I'm wearing my jumper the wrong way around because it's come up like quite high on my neck here and like dipped down quite far on my back, but I kind of don't care. I kind of like it. But anyway, yeah, I think it's definitely on the wrong way around. Whatever. So yeah, I'm looking to see if there's anything else I've forgotten to mention. I don't think so. I think that's it. So we'll just talk about my life. So if you're not here to hear about me, if you just wanted to hear about what I was knitting, then thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time, hopefully next week. But if you would like to hear me talk a little bit about what we've been up to this week, not much, and also a little bit about looking forward to next week and beyond, then stick around, grab your favourite beverage of choice, and let's chat. So yeah, last Friday I went out with my mum, which was really, really lovely. Andrew took the afternoon off and picked our youngest up from nursery at lunchtime, and he had the afternoon with him. So I had a child-free day, which was really nice. And although I missed him, like the kids, Aiden, my oldest, is usually out all day on a Friday. He goes to nursery on a Friday. So I was kind of used to not having him around, but I'm really not used to not having Rory around, because he's been like my little shadow for the last 15 months. So it was really weird not to have him with me. I missed him, but it was really nice then when I saw him again and we had cuddles, and it was nice. But it was also really nice to spend the day with my mum, and because my eldest loves my mum so much, so if we're there, if we see them like as a whole family, nobody else gets any time with my mum, because Aiden is just more, can you do this? Da, 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 da. Like, it's really it's really, really sweet, but he's a bit full on with her, so there's no chance that anybody else is going to get an opportunity to talk to her if Aiden's there. So it was really nice to have a day when I knew that we could just talk and knit and drink coffee, and then we had a glass of wine at the end of the day, and that was really lovely. Yeah, it was just a really nice day. I really needed it after we had a couple of weeks of being poorly and bad sleep, so it was really nice to have that. And then we had like another week of bad sleep and having colds. So it was like respite in the middle there. So, and then I think on Saturday or on Sunday, I think it was Saturday, we went to Thetford Forest, which is like a local forestry commission site, I guess. It's really nice. They've got lots of trails that you can walk, none of them particularly like long or hard to walk, but really lovely. They've got little like gruffalo things dotted around and little play sites dotted around, so it's interesting for the kids as well. But it was really nice to go, so we went there and had a bit of lunch and met my parents again. Aiden took his bike and he cycled about. We had an ice cream because it was really nice weather. We were like, this could be the last nice day of the year, so let's have an ice cream. So that was nice. Yeah, and then yeah, that must have been Saturday. No idea what we did on Sunday. Did Sunday even happen? I don't know. And then it was just back into a normal week, and yeah, just being tired and under the weather. It's Rory particularly that seems to suffer when he gets a cold, because he's just been like at home for pretty much the last 15 months, and so he's now kind of interacting with children at daycare, and is bringing back all these germs and things. So the poor sausages, just constant nose stream, and he's teething, so obviously that makes nothing better. So yeah, and then he's not been sleeping well, so then we're grumpy and tired, and it doesn't make it better either. But I have been doing a fair amount of reading, so with being up like with Rory and things like that, when I'm sitting in his bedroom cuddling him, I'm like reading as well, which has been really nice alternative to like scrolling through Instagram. So even though my phone is like, your screen time has gone up massively, it's like, yeah, but now I'm reading instead of just looking at Instagram. And I really like Instagram, don't get me wrong, but it feels like a much more productive use of my time to read a book. And literally, I think I might have said this last week, I haven't read a book in like 2 years. And I used to be like constantly head in a book. Yeah, I find it quite hard sometimes to have multiple hobbies, so it's like I'm either obsessed with something or it doesn't interest me at all. I saw a little like meme about that. If I can find it, I'll like put it in, but yeah, it's like either I'm like, give me all the knitting, all the sewing, all the reading, or I'm like, knitting, sewing, reading, what's that? I don't care. So I've been really trying to let these things kind of ebb and flow a little bit more, and like say to myself, it's okay if I just pick up my knitting and do a round and then put it down and do something else. It's okay if I don't want to knit this evening and want to read instead. Yeah, so it's been quite nice, and it's meant that we've had a nicer balance between like not just staring at the TV all evening, which is so tempting, but then I feel like I sleep better if I haven't been staring at the TV all evening. But then it's hard to tell because we have a child that wakes up in the night, so yeah. I don't know, but I've been reading a lot. So I just finished A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J Maas, so I'm now on to, I can't remember what the second one is called. I dug my Kindle out, which means I'm in business. I mean business when I dig my Kindle out. Court of Mist and Fury is the second one. So, thoroughly enjoying myself. I am about 70% of the way through that. So, yeah, I have a Goodreads. I'll link my Goodreads down below. 73% of the way through. So I'll probably finish that today or tomorrow. I feel like, even though I've read them before, I feel like I'm actually reading them this time. I feel like previously I was like just trying to race to the end so that I could say that I'd read them. But I'm reading them again, and I generally don't read books twice because I'm just bored because I know what happens. But this time I'm like, oh, it's kind of like I've not read them before, and even though I'm kind of anticipating big things that happen, some of the smaller details I don't remember. So it's really nice to reread them. So if you have any recommendations for anything that's similar to like A Court of Thorns and Roses or the Throne of Glass series, anything like that, let me know. Really like fae and like high fantasy, magic, all that kind of thing. A couple of my favourite books over here. Darker Shade of Magic by V. Swab. Love that series. I might have to read that next actually and just reread that. Maybe I just need to do a bit of a reread of some of my favourites to just like get myself back into it. I don't know. So, but please leave me book recommendations down below because I'm feeling in the mood to read, and I'm like gutted that I'm almost finished with the second book in this series, knowing that there's only like one more full book in this like arc of the story, and then there's the Court of Moons and Starlight, whatever it is, the like short one, which was really lovely but isn't really like in the series in the same way. And I haven't read the like the second arc of this story, but I do have it, so I will read that. So that'll be nice to kind of be caught up. Anyway, could chat about books for a long time. The only other thing to mention really is that next week we're going on holiday, which will be really nice because this is going to be our first holiday, really. We went away with my parents once or twice to like on the forest holidays where you get a cabin in the woods. Well, a cabin in the forest, and then you're like a 5-minute walk away from like a hub with like a bar and things like that. So we did that a couple of times, but this will be the first time that like we have gone away just us. It'll be Rory's first holiday at all. Aidan has been with us for a forest holiday, but yeah, it'll be the first time that it's just our little family unit, and we're so excited. And I'm also really nervous because it's like, well, we're going to be away from all of our things, all the toys that the children like to play with are going to be here, and I kind of am a bit nervous about keeping them entertained for for 2 weeks, but hopefully just being in a new place will be interesting enough. Aiden has like no idea really what holiday is, I don't think, so he's excited to go and see Granny and Grandad, but doesn't really understand that it's going to be exciting to go like to Wales as well, and he thinks that Wales is an animal, so he thinks we're going to see whales. So that's going to be interesting when we don't see any whales. And he's like, where are all the whales? Yeah, I'm going to go and get all of this footage uploaded onto my laptop and then try and edit it. Got a bit of sewing I need to do. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. As I said at the beginning, links to everything that I've talked about will be down below. Come over and follow me on Instagram and like talk knitting with me. Tell me what books I should read, and yeah, follow me on Goodreads as well so you can see what books I have read, what books I am reading, what books I want to read, all the books. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.